Why is so much writing so bad? Why is it so hard to understand the fine print in a contract, or a typical academic article, or the instructions for setting up a wireless home network? My name is Steven Pinker. I study language for a living, so I've thought a lot about this question. There's no shortage of theories that are out there. The one that I hear most often is that bad writing is a deliberate choice. Bureaucrats insist on gibberish to cover their anatomy. Tech writers get revenge on the jocks who kicked sand in their faces and the girls who turned them down on dates. Academics use pseudoscientific verbiage to hide the fact that they have nothing to say, hoping to bamboozle their audiences with highfalutin gobbledygook. The other theory that I hear is that it's digital media that are ruining the language. Google is making us stupid. Twitter is forcing us to speak in 140 characters. Texting is replacing grammatical prose with smiley faces and abbreviations like LOL and IMHO. According to this theory, it was better before the days of smartphones and the web. You remember those days, don't you? Back in the 1980s, when teenagers spoke in fluent paragraphs, bureaucrats wrote in plain English, and every academic article was a masterpiece in the art of the essay? Or was it the 1970s? The thing is, of course, that bad writing has always been with us, and good writing has always been hard. And that's why, for as long as there's been writing, there have been writing style manuals. So why does the world need another one? Why does the world need the sense of style, the thinking person's guide to writing in the 21st century? Now, I'm a big fan of many of the manuals that are out there, like Strunk and White's iconic The Elements of Style. But a book written by a man who was born before the invention of the telephone, let alone the internet, can't be the only way that 21st century writers learn their craft. The problem with traditional style advice is that it's based on a list of arbitrary do's and don'ts that come from the tastes and peeves of the authors. There's no principled understanding of how language works, and as a result, readers have no way of understanding and assimilating the advice and are apt to treat the rules robotically. And much of the advice is just plain wrong. I think we can do better today. I think we can base advice on writing on the best science and scholarship, on good theories of how language works, on evidence-based dictionaries and grammars, on research from cognitive science on what makes a sentence easy or hard to understand. In the sense of style, I try to explain why certain guidelines make your prose clearer and more fun to read. I try to explain which rules you should follow, and which ones were based on superstitions and myths that never made any sense in the first place and that you'd be better off ignoring. I also take a different attitude towards style. Many manuals are stern and censorious. They advocate zero tolerance for errors and use words like horror and satanic and ghastly and plummeting standards. Language instruction is a kind of marine boot camp. Why not think of writing instead as a form of pleasurable mastery, like cooking or photography, where perfecting the craft is a lifelong calling and mistakes are a part of the game? I try to treat issues of usage with a light touch, including plenty of jokes, cartoons, lyrics of popular songs, and other examples of language in everyday life. One more thing. The sense of style is not just for people who are seeking practical advice on how to improve their writing. It's also for people who love to read and who have always been fascinated by the worlds of letters and literature. People who are just curious about how things work and may have read some of my previous books on how the mind works, or human nature, or the history of violence. It's for people who want to know how the sciences of language and mind can explain how language works at its best. If you're any of these people, I like to think that you'll enjoy The Sense of Style, the thinking person's guide to writing in the 21st century.